Speaker Knockerz, 18. I've been making beats since I was 13. Really, I was making beats because it was like another artist that was famous, like, you know, for like teen age, Soulja Boy. And I was watching him, I was like, hey, how you do that? How you do this? And I saw one of his videos, started getting on the program or whatever, and I started making beats ever since then. I didn't start getting serious until, you know, I got older and I ain't had no money. It was like a struggle, so I had to figure out some way to make it. I was like, hey, why don't I take my talents and make the money? I've just been doing that for like 2 years now, like selling beats and stuff like that.
Yeah. Started out with nothing, I was hungry. Now I got a couple niggas, bitches on me. Fuck nigga, I don't wanna be your homie. I had to make a couple bands by my lonely. I had to make a couple bands by my lonely. I had to make a couple bands by my lonely. I had to make a couple bands by my lonely. Fuck nigga, I don't wanna be your homie. I'm getting money, niggas hating, so oh well. You claim you real, but under pressure you gon' tell. I'm smoking loud, you can tell by the smell. Just made a jug off my motherfucking cell. I'm chasing the money, not chasing the fame. I got a foreign bitch, she look like she moved cocaine. I skirt off in the fast lane. I race to the cash, I get to it fast, and you fuck niggas in last place. Fuck nigga, better back. I don't fuck with you like that. I see you looking mad, well too bad. What are you gon' do when I finesse you out your racks? Your racks, your racks. What are you gon' do when I finesse you out your racks? Your racks, your racks. What are you gon' do when I finesse you out your racks? I don't know why these niggas keep on stalking me. They wanna copy me, damn. I don't know why your hoe, she keep on calling me. She wanna follow me, damn. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Every day I think about the money. Let's go. What am I gonna do with all this money? I can't go a day without my money. No, you know that I'm married to the money. Always keep the shit 100. Better think twice before you run up. Bitch shit, she ain't tryna turn up. Keep the bitch out, no punter. Never will I hold my head down. Still make the shot through the foul. Nigga got too much mouth. Now it's forehead inside out. I got black on black inside out. I got hella racks in my house. Little pussy nigga better pipe down. Got an automatic on me right now. I can tell he going through a drought. I be grinding till sundown. I can teach you boys how to count. Nigga, you my son now.
So man, the year is 2013, and at this point, bro, Speaker Knockerz was dominating the rap game / the internet game, with his beats get passed around the whole internet, with rappers like Meat Mill, Shy Glizzy, French Montana, etc. will be rapping on his beats and shit. Not only that, he was only a producer. He also was a rapper and shit with his songs like, and he being popular on Vine, getting on the internet and shit. Songs like How Could You Do This To Me, motherfucking Rico Story Part 1 was going crazy. The mixtapes Married to the Muddy, Finesse Father was going crazy around the internet. The motherfucking Free Code Light. This nigga had a whole wave going on at just the age of 18. He had the whole rap game going crazy up until the fatal tragedy year of 2014. Hey man, you already know, man. If you new here, hit that subscribe button, man. If you old here, hit that subscribe button, man. If you think you saw any one of my videos before, hit that subscribe button, man. I'm not playing, man. We going crazy. Oh, 2024. Oh man. You already know, man. You already see, man. You already feel, man. I do it. Like, do he even need an introduction, my nigga? But we gonna give him one. We got the late, great Speaker Knockerz today, man. Y'all give him a round of applause and a rest in peace in the comments. Rest in peace to Speaker Knockerz, nigga. Oh man, Speaker Knockerz, bro. The motherfucking late great Speaker Knockerz, man. Speaker Knockerz was a crazy rapper in the early 2010s. I mean, like, this nigga run that he had for the short couple years he had, honestly was crazy. Like then it was like on the level of like Juice WRLD, XXXTentacion, my nigga, of how short of a run they had when they had blew up and shit. That's that what his run really was when he came out in like around 2011, 2010 and shit. From 2010 all the way down to like 2014, this nigga run was insane, my nigga. Truly had to really be there to experience that Speaker Knockerz era. Like I was like dead to like 3rd, 4th grade and shit, while Speaker Knockerz still was popping, while songs like Free Code, Lonely, all that shit had just first came out, was popping and shit before he died. So and I had an older sibling and shit. Like I had an older sibling. Like she's always bland Speaker Knockerz like a motherfucker. So me just being around that, I already knew who this nigga was. It was already bumping him at an early age. I mean, like the nigga didn't even die yet. Like it was still random as fuck when we found out the nigga died, bro. Nigga honestly one of the influential niggas ever, my nigga. Like it is rap game. I be like, so we wouldn't have certain rappers because of this nigga, bro. This nigga sound just literally get duplicated. Still to this day, like it's still niggas that's heavily influenced by him and shit. This nigga been dead for like what, like 10, like almost 12 years now, like damn near almost, and niggas still influential by this nigga, bro. The man literally started that auto-tune like singing rap shit, bro. Like it was gonna get me wrong, bro. That always been the thing, like Kanye, T-Pain, etc. But he kind of like the way he was doing at the time, like from the early 2010s. That wasn't really too much broader pounding and shit. Like you had Roscoe Dash and like the futuristic era and shit, but this was like when music was shifting. Like this is like 2012, 2013. This was Sosa. This was Chicago, and the drill scene was going crazy. So for him, before Sosa fully started doing it after while his career, Speaker Knockerz was kind of the only nigga at the time who really was doing that, like auto-tune, trap, like singing shit, like in 8 songs and shit. Especially with the type beats that he was having, like nobody wasn't rapping like that with the style he was doing at the time. Hence why we got rappers like Nav and all kinds of shit later on down the line and shit. Man, if you new here, you don't know how these type of videos go, man. We gonna be talking about the late great Speaker Knockerz, man. The little run he had from the early 2010s and kind of 2014, you know. So basically we gonna talk about like the early life and shit. The shit like even led up to this point of him, you know, becoming like Speaker Knockerz and shit. We're gonna talk about the early shit. You know, we're gonna talk about the flight delayed mixtapes, the beats he, like, you know, how his beats he got popping in the first place. Then we're gonna talk about the crazy mixtape run. I mean, Married to the Money, Married and Finesse Father was crazy tapes. We could talk about Married to the Money too, but that was kind of like a posthumous tape. Like that kind of came after he died. It really was like a compilation tape with whoever was like the record label and shit. It wasn't really a Speaker Knockerz tape, so we kind of not gonna really talk about it for real and shit, you know, because it just don't really feel right talking about it. So we're gonna talk about the 2 main tapes he dropped when he was live. Then we're gonna talk about just Lonely, Take It Off, just like Free Code. Basically the shit Vaughn had going, like when the nigga was popping. Vaughn definitely was a big part of his music, really taking off like a motherfucker and shit. Then of course we're gonna talk about like his death, of course, you know, we're gonna browse through that. We ain't gonna talk too much about it because, you know, we all know the story of how everything went about, you know. Then we're gonna talk about just the influential he had on the rap game, because he definitely had one like a motherfucker. I know I've been talking too fucking much, man, so I'ma just tell you right now, you the nigga right there that's watching this shit, go to the local McDonald's, get you a motherfucking cheese bagel and get you some orange juice and shit. Sit down on your fucking table, wherever you. Oh man, you know we gotta talk about the early life of Speaker Knockerz, man. Speaker Knockerz was born on motherfucking November 6, 1994. Derek McAllister Jr. He was born in the Bronx, New York and shit. That's ironic that this nigga from New York and shit. He was spent the first couple years of his life in New York City, but once his dad got locked up and shit and got sentenced to 10 years, his family then moved, and they moved all the way to South Carolina, Columbia. But why, like his first couple years to living in South Carolina, that's when he developed the love and just a time of motherfucking hip hop and really started getting into hip hop music. It kind of started creating the music and shit like as time went on and shit. And it's like the early 2000s at this point. While like a couple years and shit was going by and Speaker Knockerz was getting more and more into music, his dad in 2010 would eventually get out of prison and he'll go like spend time with his son and shit. And you know, he started really seeing like the success of his son and shit. So his dad would start beginning to help him develop like more of a musical skill and shit. After that, Speaking Knockerz would start working and creating his debut mixtape, Flight Delayed, which he wasn't even called Speaking Knockerz at this point. He was then his first, like, real name at this point. He wasn't the Speaking Knockerz we all love and know at this point. Dropped his first mixtape, Flight Delayed. I ain't gonna lie, for like a first mixtape, it's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of alright and shit. You definitely can hear the Soulja Boy influence that he said he had early on in his career. You definitely can hear in some of these songs and shit. Like,
girl, what happened to the good times when we used to be cool? And now you talking about seeing other people. Like, wow, why you acting so shady? I miss calling you. Girl, what happened to the good?
The influence was there, but then also you can also hear that he kind of had his own sound going on at a young age and shit. Like, already the beginning of his career was already coming off the gate with some original shit, but you still can hear the influence of a little bit Soulja Boy in that bit. And then around like the years of 2010 and 2011 though, that's where the ball really would get working for Speaking Knockerz and shit, cause he didn't want to be the generic nigga that working 95 and shit. So he would really start like really locking in and just kind of started making and dropping beats whenever he could and shit. So towards the time and shit of him just being in the house locking in, really they're trying to, you know, get produced, no, just drop any beat he want to and shit. He'll end up selling his first ever beat on SoundClick for $50 and shit. And he'll end up using that money to buy some, like, you know, some real legit speakers at this point. So you gotta realize this was a big deal though. Like, this is like the early 2010s. This when like making money off YouTube wasn't that common at the time yet. Like, that's when that shit really was just getting started. And not even off YouTube, just making money off the internet in general was still like brand new at the time and shit. So for him to be doing that already that early, that shit was a big deal and shit. I realize, like, at this point, shit is booming. Like, he really at this bitch locking in and shit. So this will he'll really start like producing for other rappers that was already well known at the time and shit. Where he'll start really producing for Gucci Mannn.
You can send him to the army, but it still wasn't prepared. Shotgun, I hurt more than this goddamn feeling.
Like Gucci Mannn, Young Scooter, down, he'll start producing for Frick.
That dope got me rich. That drop got me flex. Blue dot got me lit. 100 bottles in my cellar.
Rich Montana, he'll start making songs with Young Dolph.
While I'm getting high, my nigga sold me some cookies. That shit super fire. Chase it with some screwdrivers. Now I'm gonna get super tired. My nigga, that shit you smoking super quiet.
Meal, Shot Glizzy, I mean shit, like it was, the nigga was popping like a motherfucker. That's where his name and the beats was starting to get more and more out there. Yeah, I realize these kind of big name artists at the time, especially like artists like Gucci Mannn and shit. Now Young Dolph and them was still like coming up and shit, but Gucci Mannn was already well known and respected. So it was already notable and known at the time. After like what, 6 months after he was producing these beats, that nigga then made over $40,000 and shit. And that's what he'll buy his famous and classic black on black Camaro. He be speeding past these hoes, fucking around. So crazy, cause this nigga was doing all this shit at a young age, my nigga. This nigga was like 17, 18, like doing all this shit at a young age, already producing, kind of becoming like a big name just that quick. Then buy his dream car. It's like shit. The nigga was legendary at a young ass age, my nigga. Then he got this random ass picture. Now, I always thought this picture is crazy how classic legendary this picture right here is, nigga. The picture with him, Lil Durk, Lil Reese, and Fredo Santana. Rest in peace to Fredo and Speaking Knockerz, my nigga. It's just crazy how legendary this picture really is and shit. Cause this like 2012, damn. This is 2012, like, this is when these niggas had first really started popping and shit. Speaking Knockerz was still upcoming at the time. It's a legend that Speaking Knockerz and Chief Keef had a little beef going on between that time too, because I guess like the similarities was getting compared to shit. I can't really remember where it was, but I know that it was like Chief Keef called his black Camaro like plastic or some shit. Like a little bitty, not major for real, just kind of some shit that was going on at that time, you know. The years of 2012 to like halfway 2013, he'll get the ball rolling until he'll drop his classic Married to the Money mixtape on April 19th, 2013, my nigga. This shit had the whole like internet game going crazy at the time. I mean, like, this shit had so many bangers on top of bangers. Rico Story stems from this right here. Now, Rico Story is a trilogy story, which got the Rico Story 1, 2, and 3, my nigga. Each one was crazy. But Rico Story 1 took off like a motherfucker. I mean, it literally made Knock like kind of like a household name at the point and shit.
Damn, now he locked up, his bond $1 million. He locked in the cell with a Brazilian. Rico cellmate, name is Pedro. Pedro said he know how to get them pesos.
Now we all had Meek Mill, Tony Story, but Rico Story beats that shit. Even though it was made up, it still beats that shit like a motherfucker. Like literally, bro, it's so many classic gems on this fucking tape. I mean, Weekend was crazy.
I make the racks and spend it on the weekend. Married to the money, never cheating. I took your girl and fucked her on the weekend. I ain't tryna cut, fuck a season.
All I know is crazy.
All I know is money, I can't get enough. My fingers, they be itching just to count it up. Got a bad bitch, yeah, she bad as fuck. But I don't trust these hoes, so I can't fall in.
Like, half of this shit was ahead of its time. Like, some of this shit still sound like you can play this shit nowadays. You can ride through the shit and whip, and that shit still sound fresh as hell, bro. Money was crazy.
Spend them racks, you know I make it right back. Let's go. Stunting on these niggas, they don't like that. No, I found a bad bitch with a nice ass. See that? But she be playing games, so I can't wipe that.
Annoying fire, nigga. The motherfucking bands was crazy, my nigga.
Every day is Halloween, I'm trick-or-treating. Let's go. Everywhere I go, they like, what's up now? I took your hoe and made her fall in love now. Yo, ho.
That's all is one of my top favorite Knock songs. I can't count. That song is fire.
I just want the cash, that's all. Count a lot of racks, that's all. Let that money stack, that's all. Spend it, get it back, that's all. That's all.
Now we all know the classic Rico Stories and shit. Like, we all know how classic it is when they come on, my nigga. It's just crazy, cause this nigga, there was a young nigga doing this shit. Like, this nigga was young as hell, already in the clubs performing that half of the shit, like 17 and shit. Like, this nigga, for this nigga to be young as hell, this nigga was already booming like a motherfucker. And he'll follow that up with the classic Finesse Father that dropped on July 11, 2013. Now, I feel like at this time, you could go nowhere without seeing this cover art pop up somewhere on live mixtapes. You just could see it pop up in general. Like, this shit was everywhere, my nigga. Now, this tape right here really solidified Speaker Knockerz in my opinion. This one, he was like going crazy. Like, I mean, like, Married to the Money was just a heads up. This right here was crazy. This crazy because this nigga only has like 2 official mixtapes, like, before he died, bro. He was doing all this in 2013, my nigga. The nigga had passed the year after this. So he was doing he was dropping the best shit already. Like, he kind of, it's like, it did the fact like he knew what was gonna happen, because this shit was crazy. Like, this, honestly, fire as hell, and this shit still rides to this day. Check with Young, this was like the first time I really heard Young Dolph. Like, I didn't know who the fuck Young Dolph was. Now, I knew who Jose Guapo was because of Rich Kids and shit. I didn't know who the fuck Young Dolph was and shit. So hearing him on this song at the time was a big deal and shit.
I can tell he ain't getting no check. I can tell he ain't getting no check. He wearing everybody else shit. He riding everybody else whip. I can tell she ain't getting no check. I can tell she ain't getting no check. Try and give a little net for the check. She won't fuck me cause I got check.
Yo, Rats is crazy.
I heard he been confessing. All I do is count up, it's a blessing. Pass that shit and smoke that shit. Somebody had that weed that go too far again.
Dance is fire as fuck.
I love the way you shake that ass. Over there dancing like you ain't got no man. So baby, if you want this cash, let me see you do it with no hands.
Flexing, finessing is like classic, my nigga.
Flexing, flexing, I be flexing, flexing and finessing. Flexing, flexing, I be flexing, flexing and finessing. Flexing and finessing, I be flexing and finessing.
Hang around is crazy.
You gotta watch who you hang around, because these niggas, they really ain't your niggas. You gotta watch who you hang around. What kind of nigga don't pull trigger for his niggas, eh?
Crazy. Count up, like, bro, it's so many classics on this project we could talk about, my nigga. Like, this whole mixtape has no skips, not one skip, my nigga. Really, not one skip, my nigga. This whole, like, this nigga 2 mixtapes at this time was crazy. Like, that shit really would get the ball rolling and shit. Like, this one, everybody be like, okay, This nigga here, right here, like, he not only that he do this producing shit, he also on this rapping shit too, and he was coming fresh off the game with a new sound. That shit was unheard of at the time, my nigga. That melodic, vibey sound at the time, like, it's crazy, because once 2016 came, every rapper that came out had that sound. Like, everybody had that type of sound, like, that melodic, vibey sound, bro. He was doing this shit in 2012, 2013, 14, bro. He was doing this shit, like, light years ahead, bro. And it's crazy because, like, this man could have been, he dead ass is the biggest West Ilf, because he could have been so much popular right now, bro. But God working mysterious ways. God obviously called for him in the early time, but just so sad and unfortunate because, like, man was coming out the gate with fresh classic shit already. Then we gotta talk about the classic Lonely that dropped on December 10th of 2013, my nigga. Lonely was like one of the biggest songs he had dropped up to that point. He was already known for All I Know Money and all the other songs, but Lonely skyrocketed this man's career. Like, when this shit dropped, this shit was like an official hit, my nigga. And it wasn't just because, like, the or nah, like the ha ha, it was literally just the whole vibe of the song. Like, that shit was like really was unheard of at the time. Like, when I tell y'all niggas wasn't doing that type of style, they wasn't doing that shit, bro. Man was coming out here with straight just new heat like a motherfucker and shit. Now this song would go crazy. I mean, like, Von took this song. Now who remember Tony Remoter, bro? Who remember her, bro? She like the main reason, kind of like why some of Speaker Knockerz music kind of blew up, my nigga. And people don't seem to talk about her enough. She had fire music and shit. She had that Nothing on Me song. She had crazy music at the time and shit. But she really was kind of like the main part of, like, Speaker Knockerz truly taking off and shit like a motherfucker. Like, I mean, like, cause she was always kind of main ones who was posting his songs on Vine. And we all know Vine at the time was like, if Vine is the OG TikTok, like your song was bound to take off if Vine had a hold of. And that's kind of how TikTok is now. Like, if your song on TikTok is gonna blow up, if your song was on Vine at the time, it was gonna blow up. And she was kind of like the main one who truly was really doing, like, vibing to his music and shit until it really caught on and shit. That's when the ha ha, you mad or not, like, that's when that shit kind of took off like a motherfucker. That's when motherfucker just, that whole became, it's crazy how that became a slang. Like, literally, like, if you say how you mad or not, Speaker Knockerz was saying that shit. He was early on with saying that shit. Only it up taking off like a motherfucker and shit. Just this whole vibe of the song honestly just was so ahead of time. Like, this nigga was light years ahead of the curve, my nigga. Like, niggas was not doing this shit at the time, bro. It's honestly so unfortunate how, like, sad it really was. Cause he kept the ball rolling at this, like, with the singles he was dropping. Cause you gotta realize, at this point, he's gearing up to drop or work on Married to the Money too. You know, he's gearing up to work on it. So he's dropping hella singles and songs ahead of, which Lonely was, of course, probably the first single and shit. Cause he ended up dropping Dab You Up in early 2014. He ended up dropping his last song, Erica Kane and shit. He just started really working on hella shit that was coming around at this time. Oh man, after keeping the whole momentum going and shit, dropping the classic Lonely in late 2013, Dab You Up early 2014. Speaker Knockerz was hard at work, but unfortunately, things was come to a closing. On March 4th, Speaker Knockerz would drop his last song, and that would be Erica Kane, which was a fire ass song and shit. It was crazy song and shit. That shit went crazy too. But after that, Speaker Knockerz was kind of go silent, and I ain't talking about like musically silent. I mean, like, he would literally go silent for like everybody. 10 years ago, man, Speaker Knockerz would end up calling his mom and shit, telling her that he was going to end up taking his father out to dinner and shit, you know. Which way, you know, he was end up going to do it later on and shit. It was around his father's birthday. He was going to take him out for that weekend. Towards 11 o'clock, he ended up dropping his little brother, Lil Knock, and his father off at the crib. And he ended up driving off and shit. That was like the last time he would ever be seen and shit. Well, at least up to that point, he would be seen by somebody he would know. So hours would go on and shit. You know, just time would go on and shit. Everybody was wondering, like, what the hell was Speaker Knockerz was and shit. And people was calling him, no answers and nothing. People was already stated that was just normal for Speaker Knockerz shit, but not hearing back from him after a couple of days and shit, it was getting real worried and shit, because they realized that, like, yeah, he might be making beats, so he probably ain't gonna answer, but he gonna call back. Nobody ended up getting no call back. His mom, dad, nobody, etc. getting no call back and shit. So once the next morning came and they realized he had a studio session and a meeting that morning, and they realized he didn't show up for neither, that's when the speculation of something had to be going on and shit. And his mom would end up reporting and shit, kind of filing like a missing report on him, posting on Facebook, asking how they seen his son. It has like, you know, like, where's Speaker Knockerz? Hours of time went by and shit. Accordingly, the day of March 6, 2014, Speaker Knockerz, the police will break open Speaker Knockerz garage and they'll find Speaker Knockerz collapsed next to his black on black Camaro, man. And that shit was honestly crazy. It honestly was sad and shit. Now we all speculate of what his death cause could have been. It's not really officially confirmed. We all know the heart attack. We all know the lean overdose. Some people say it could be because he breathed in the smoke. You know, it wasn't. I don't think it was confirmed that the car was on or off and shit. You know, so it really wasn't even too much confirmed. But unfortunately, man, that shit was really sad, man. I remember just like that shit hitting the internet. It wasn't like believable at all. It was like, damn. It just, the nigga was young as hell, like 19, bro. Like I'm just now turning 20, bro. So just like, it's damn sad that this nigga didn't even get to turn his age, my nigga. It's honestly unfortunate as hell, my nigga. Man, it's damn. So once the news started hitting like the internet and shit, his like collaborator, the man who filmed all the videos, will report it and shade, man. Rest in peace to my nigga Knock. Motherfucking Gucci Man would say rest in peace shit. I remember Soulja Boy made a video saying rest in peace and shit. Shit, Young Dolph was saying rest in peace, and it's crazy because rest in peace to Young Dolph and Speaker Knockerz. Shit, even Fredo said rest in peace to Knock. Shit was honestly sad as hell, man. Very, very, very unfortunate, bro. Speaker Knockerz was a young nigga who was really out here getting out the dirt and really coming out here with his own sound and music. Just with his like, just the untimely pass away that early in his career, man. This shit will always be sad as fuck. Rest in peace to Speaker Knockerz, man, for sure, man. That shit honestly still crazy as hell to me. It was held on March 15th of 2014, and it just was very, very unfortunate, man. Like, we dead ass had lost Speaker Knockerz, my nigga. Like, crazy as fuck, man. It just was, it definitely wasn't, it was honestly crazy, bro. Sad as fuck, man. Bro left this rap game. He left this earth with 2 classic mixtapes, just hella classic songs, and just a kind of catalog of music that just still goes crazy to this day. Like, I still go to a party at a college anywhere, bro, and still hear Freako play. Freako still, Lonely still have people turn, like, Lonely was so crazy. Drake was even singing this shit. Drake was saying this shit. It's hella. Kodak made remix to this shit. Like, it's so many people that paid their respects after the shit died and shit. Now, you can say that Speaker Knockerz got bigger as an artist after he passed, you know, which is kind of happened to every rapper. Once somebody passed, they get bigger. And that's kind of true. I mean, he was already big for his time, though, but he did kind of become this superstar and shit. And that's just because his music got real influential years later and shit. Like, time went by, everybody wanted to sound like this nigga and shit. His sound was honestly getting passed around like a motherfucker. Where like Roddy Ricch and shit, Nav was using his sound, A Boogie was using his sound. It's hella people like motherfuckers that was using Lil Skies. Like, it's so many people that was influential from this, that was influenced by this nigga that was just taking that sound he was doing, because that sound wasn't used at the time. Like, that shit was still early on and shit. His legacy is still somewhere getting carried away, but not really as much as shit. Like, I remember after he died and shit, like, I remember his little brother Lil Knock would like be in a music video with Tony on the Scare Money song, which is an underrated ass song and shit. I remember like his like dad, all them kind of like, they dropped their Married to the Money too. But like I said, it wasn't really that good to me. If Dana only had like probably like what, 2-3 unreleased like Speaker Knockerz songs up to that point, with the rest of the songs being a Lonely remix with Young Scooter, Dab You Up, like the songs we had already knew and shit. The rest of the shit just, it was kind of like a compilation tape with the people who were signed to TBG. Like, that's really where it was. But honestly, man, Speaker Knockerz, bro. Speaker Knockerz was just super influential in this rap game, man. We wouldn't have certain rappers if it wasn't this man right here, bro. This man came and he only was doing this shit at a young age in a couple years, bro. It took this man like 2-3 years to really change the whole music game, bro. So like, to sit there and just analyze that shit, bro. This man wasn't even on this earth that long, my nigga. And he was doing all this shit at a young ass age, man. That just lets you know, man, you gotta go get it, man. You gotta go get it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will wrap this video up. Hey, man, if you enjoyed this video, man, y'all give the video a big ass thumbs up, man. We finally hit 5,000 subscribers, bro. I fucking appreciate that, man. I can't. All I can say is thank the Lord. Thank you guys, man. I really love and appreciate y'all so much, man. I literally, like, I can't do nothing but just express happiness because y'all really fuck with your boy, man. Like, that's crazy as hell, man. I gotta realize, bro, I just be making these. It's crazy how y'all really fuck with these videos as much as y'all fuck with them, because these be shit that I be having conversations with, like, my homies and shit. Never, like, thought other people would understand what the fuck I be talking about. So it's crazy y'all really fucking understand what the fuck I be talking about, man. Cause I just be yapping about shit that I remember growing up and hearing this shit, and it's crazy how we all grew up the same way and experienced the same shit, man. So I can't do nothing but just sit and respect and appreciate that, man. It's like for real, bro. For that 4th, we on a road to 10K, my nigga. We finna get this shit, man. We only got a few months in this year and we already cooking up so far, so I just can't do nothing but say I love all y'all niggas, man. I got so much shit coming, bro. We only getting started, man. It's so much shit that we finna have dropping, my nigga. With consistent uploads, my nigga. Consistent uploads, bro. So y'all make sure y'all be there for it. Hella shit coming, man. We got some big shit coming soon, bro. Collab. Y'all finna see, man. Y'all finna get the picture. I love and appreciate all y'all, man. Yeah, man.